As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider and I unreservedly apologize for it. And the trauma it has affected Nigerians to, directly or indirectly. We have decided that all the candidates affected in the 157 centers of the 882 be contacted to retake their examinations. These candidates are to be contacted through text messages addressed to their registered phone number from tomorrow, their email addresses, their profiles, and phone calls by JAMB. They are directed to reprint their examination slips for the rescheduled examination dates.
That's the JAMB registrar, Professor Issa, giving a press conference regarding what happened during the last JAMB exam. Someone committed an educational sabotage and he's crying to cover up for what he did, and people are clapping. Well, we'll come back to him and his educational sabotage. After the release of the JAMB results, there was uproar, there was outcry. A lot of candidates, especially those from the Southeast, came out to say that their JAMB result is not a true reflection of how hard they work for that exam. There's this particular young man I want you all to give kudos to. His name is Alex Onya. He has been a vocal voice, especially to education in the Southeast. He took it upon himself to listen to the outcry and complaints from this candidate. His team was able to collate thousands of results from affected candidates in the Southeast who complained that their result is not a true reflection of how hard they work for this exam. He challenged JAMB to open their system for external auditing. He also went ahead to institute a class action against JAMB if they fail to open up their server for external auditing. He also went to the national television to talk about it.
A lot of things went wrong, actually. And so currently now I have 11,460 reports.
Wow.
From different students, yes. And probably by the time I'm done here, it'll probably be up to like 15,000.
Whoa.
So the point is, I've already studied the pattern.
Okay.
24th, 25th, 26th, and the 28th. Those people who wrote the exam in those dates, their results are very bad. Yeah. And I mean, in those, if you see in those dates, you also see a lot of teachers who wrote the exams. You see students like, for instance, someone scored 281 2 years ago. The same person scored 311 last year, and the person is scoring 164 this year. I mean, this is not practicable. This is a similar case to 11,460 students. Different kind of schools. I've spoken to a lot of schools. These are schools that create excellence in all kinds of JAMBs for the past 30 years, and all of a sudden, the best student in school is scoring 170.
Yeah.
So there is a major glitch in JAMB system. And so two things that I'm requesting for is, one is, because I've checked, there's actually no place in JAMB's policy that inhibits them from sharing the mark script. So we need these students to see their mark script. And secondly, they have to investigate these days, right? And for me, because this is a technical problem, of course, this is an area of my expertise, so we know how these things happen. Many of these JAMB officials may never understand how this happened. Probably it's through their vendor, right? So they have to fix this. So I don't believe 11,460 students can be this wrong. You know, they were very quick to release mass failure and all those blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I don't think we experience such number of failures in this year's JAMB.
So I feel
JAMB was forced to do the needful, and him and his team were invited to come for an internal auditing of the JAMB system. After the conclusion of his private investigation, he came on Twitter and put out a press release regarding what they discovered. It's a lengthy one, so I'm not going to be reading everything, but I want to read out some important points he raised in their investigation. I want you to listen carefully. Now, this is the part of the report he made. He said why this improvement, talking about the improvement JAMB made this year, were technologically sound in theory. A major operational flaw was uncovered during the implementation phase. The system patch necessary to support both shuffling and source-based validation had been fully deployed on the server cluster supporting the Kaduna zone, but it was not applied to the Lagos cluster, which service centers in Lagos and the southeast. Take note of this. This omission persisted across all sessions until the 7th session, after which the error was discovered and corrected. To verify the scale and accuracy of this issue, JAMB collaborated with the EduCare technical team, which had gathered response data directly from over 18,000 candidates. After deduplication and filtering, about 15,000 authentic records were analyzed. Of these, more than 14,000 originated from the region serviced by the unpatched Lagos servers, confirming the technical review findings. Comparative analysis between JAMB internal audit and third-party system evaluation reveal significant overlap, reinforcing the conclusion that the affected centers were indeed operating under impaired conditions. If you listen carefully, you will get to the point where he said that when they were patching the servers, they discover an error after the 17 sessions. JAMB discover an error. Now, when results were released, some candidates complained that their results do not reflect how hard they work for this exam, that there are discrepancies regarding their result. JAMB discover an error. This is from JAMB. They admitted that they discover an error while they were patching the server. They did not correct that error, and they allowed the error to scale through, affecting people from the southeast. They knew that that server is serving people from the southeast, and they allowed it to scale through. And when the results were released, students complained that this is not their result. What did JAMB and the Minister of Education say about it? They said that the mass failure in JAMB this year was as a result of the anti-cheating mechanism that was put in place. This means that the good results that have been coming from the southeast over the years was as a result of cheating. This is what the Education Minister is saying. It was as a result of cheating. And they were boasting that because of the anti-cheating mechanism they put in place, the people from the south is fail woefully because they are not reading, because they are not educated. Whereas they are fully aware that it was an error, a technical glitch from the JAMB server that caused the mass failure in the southeast, but they did not admit it. They did not admit it initially until people started raising their voice, until a class action was issued against JAMB, until an external auditing, an external investigation was carried out in the JAMB server. That was how this error was discovered.
I'm doing all these results. I went to JAMB portal to print these results, and this is what they gave me. This is the result here. So this is my aggregate 362. This is exactly how I printed it out and loaded it from that site. So they now saying that I forged my results is what I don't know, and I'm traumatized that they accused me of forging my own results, because I'm not capable of this forging results. This is the evidence. Okay, they see that I forged my results. They scanned this QR code there, and it showed another name, a Yoruba name, Omotola Afolabi, 138. And that same person that got 138, they checked again, the person got 338. Meaning that there is problem.
That is Miss Oma. You remember her? I think 2 or 3 years ago, she scored the highest in JAMB. She's an Igbo girl, but she was intimidated. She was harassed by JAMB and the DSS. They accused her of forging her result and she was banned for 3 years. 3 years of her educational life wasted because she's an Igbo girl. These are not isolated events. These are calculated attempts to sabotage the education of a certain region, the Igbo people. You might say some parts in Lagos were affected. If the server in Lagos is serving the southeast, then it is definitely serving the states in the southwest. How come other states in the southwest were not affected, but only that of the southeast were affected? And the parts in Lagos that was affected are parts that are dominated by the Igbo people. These are not isolated events. Let me take you back to what happened during the last election. The presidential election. How come P2B won in Lagos? Lagos, the home ground of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They were able to rig Rivers State, they were able to rig Benue State, they were able to rig other parts in Nigeria, but they did not rig Lagos. The reason why they did not rig Lagos was so that to give people the impression that if P2B can win in Lagos State, that is the home ground of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then lost in other states, then so be it. It means that INEC did not rig the election, because if INEC wanted to rig that election, they would have rigged in Lagos State. But that was a calculated attempt to make it look like that election was not rigged. But we all know that it was rigged. Deliberately giving P2B the Lagos election he won was a deliberate attempt to make the mind of the people feel that that election was not rigged. This is what is happening in this JAMB result as well. They deliberately allow some parts in Lagos to be affected so that it will feel like it is not a deliberate attempt to sabotage the people in the southeast. We understand this thing, we are not kids. This is why you must speak up, because this is not an isolated event. The governors from the southeast should rise and speak. The JAMB registrar should, as a matter of fact, be arrested. He should resign. If this student did not come out to speak, this would have gone under the radar. Imagine if there's a glitch in JAMB. What do you think will happen in the 2027 presidential election? Of course, they are trying to go all digital. They are trying to use the IREF. In 2023, they switched off IREF. In 2027, they will not switch off the IREF. They will allow it to go. But they are going to use the technical glitch, just like we are seeing in JAMB, to announce that result. Everything playing before our eyes is a script. If Professor Yakubu Mahmood was not arrested for sabotaging the last election, they will not also arrest this JAMB professor for sabotaging this education of thousands of people in the southeast, and they will not also arrest the next INEC chairman in 2027. We must learn to do things right in this country. We must learn to hold people accountable. People should be meant to pay for their negligence in this country. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.